Welcome to Starting Up.
The podcast for founders by founders.
We're talking to startups, scale-ups, and the people actually building things.
In the Netherlands and around the world.
No fluff,
no gatekeeping.
Just real stories from real founders.
Got something you're building?
We want to hear it.
I'm Ruben Molenaars. I'm 23 years old and I'm the founder of Mindr-AI. And at Mindr-AI, we're building solutions for cognitive offloading, which is the problem that humans are hollowing out their brains by irresponsible AI usage.
Okay, welcome to the podcast. Yeah, Starting Up.
Hey, Megan likes to keep... can I say that word? Fucked it up again?
Yeah.
Because I should have brought the other mic, right? Yeah. So now we're going to have to keep talking like this.
We're going to do this.
Because we have someone else
here we go. So do you want to introduce yourself, sir?
Yeah, I can. I'm Ruben. I'm 23 years old and I'm the founder of Mindr-AI.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's easy enough.
Yeah.
No, we're glad to have you on the podcast today. Mainly, Ruben was the first person to reach out to us, which means round of applause. He gets to be on first, which is very great. And we're excited to learn more about what you're working on at Mindr-AI.
Amazing.
And we're going to ask the good questions and the easy questions.
For sure. And also in the end, we would love to hear if there's anything that you find difficult right now in this phase. Maybe you didn't bump up to walls yet. That's also fine. But I'm already really intrigued. Like we just filmed the introduction. Okay, so how does it work? First of all, are we already there?
Yeah, let's dive in.
Yeah, good question. I think to explain how it works, it's first better to set the scene of what the problem actually is.
Yeah.
And that is something that I observed. So some background on myself. I'm a master's student, brain and cognitive sciences. And actually, like a year ago, the internet sort of, like the news broke on an MIT paper, and you guys might be familiar with it. I'm not sure. Yeah. And although there's also some critiques or some question marks you can put behind it, it confirmed some suspicions that I already had and I saw in other papers and just in general usage on the university campus and friends around me and family, which is that mainstream AI platforms promote an irresponsible AI usage that it's damaging for the human brain. So what I observed is that people are getting more and more dependent, and these systems are getting stronger and more advanced. And that makes it more easy and available to offload certain tasks. So say you need to write an essay for your master's or for your bachelor's. How inclined are you to just, before you think about the task, you put the assignment in AI first, just to see what it comes up with as like maybe suggestions if you're somewhat critical, or a lot of people would actually already just let it write an essay and then think about, okay, what do I think about this essay? What would I add? And that in itself has some cognitive implications that I worry about and sort of cause me to think about, okay, now the MIT paper is showing that something that I already suspected, which is that obviously if you use AI, it impacts how your brain processes information. And what we saw in that paper is that it reduces cortical brain activity by 47%. And
whoa.
Yeah.
47?
Yeah, that's not good.
We're getting dumb.
Yeah.
Whoa. Exactly.
Sorry.
We'll also put the MIT paper in the summary of it. So people can read it.
Yeah.
You already heard it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And well, since you don't know it, I should probably elaborate on it. So we saw that, and particularly in, that's too technical, but in some brain areas, that's not nice to have like less cortical activity there.
No.
But then they also had some behavioral metrics. So they also asked users, so the task was you had to write an essay and you got either access to ChatGPT, search engine, or nothing. So just your brain. And in the ChatGPT assistance group, afterwards, after the Harvard students handed in their work, they asked first of all for like a semantic conceptual overview, but also on some quotes. And they had a complete inability to quote their own work, but also on a semantic and conceptual level, they weren't able to properly explain what they handed in. So this, supported by the EEG activity that we see, supports this suspicion, like we need like follow-up studies that we're not encoding information as deeply anymore when we're engaging with AI. So I read that, but nobody was picking it up in the Netherlands. So then my sort of frustration grew, and I thought like, okay, somebody needs to do something about this. So I opened my laptop and I wrote an essay and I sent it into Het Parool.
Yeah.
And then they posted it, and that's sort of when the ball started rolling, and I thought, okay, this is really what interests me. Is there more I can do with it? And then in my master's, they opened up a lot of opportunity for self-development. So there was not much exams, but it was more assignments. So you had to convince a board of neuroscientists for an application that you're building, for example. And that's where I started thinking, okay, maybe I can do something with this myself. And if I want to show people how I think they can use AI like more efficiently or as efficiently as possible for the brain, it's not enough to host talks or be in podcasts. Because I started doing that. Some invites came to give like guest lectures and so I'm doing that already. But people were then inspired, but I always got the feeling when they go home, they forget because it's kind of a technical talk, but also the next day or the next week, you're sort of back in the web of mainstream AI where you're sort of, you lose the vision and the tools, right? How do I keep myself critically engaged? So that's where the idea started. I need to build something to provide users the tools to activate their brains as much as they can. And yeah.
I already have a question popping up.
Yeah.
Did you have any experience in starting something before, or anyone in your surrounding? Like, because you say that, right, you figured there's a problem.
Yeah. No. I was actually really risk aversive. So there had been some opportunities in the past. I first 2 years ago, I had an idea to start like a PFAS-free kitchen brand. Because I read a paper and a documentary and I thought, that's a big problem. Somebody needs to do something about it, but you need a lot of capital to start that. And
so we're seeing a lot of problems that we want to solve.
Yeah. You get my character a little bit. So I was really risk averse, and then but I did figure I want to do something with AI. So I started like in my bachelor's already. I opted for some programming electives, and then as an extracurricular, I joined an agent engineering team. And there I worked with developers, and they thought really differently than me, but it was for me a chance to just learn a lot. I don't know if I added like a lot to the team, but I gained a lot from the team. And yeah, then, so I had no experience, long story, but I actually had to search for an internship. And then I was at what's now the Delta Institute. I don't know if you know them.
Do you know? Yeah, I think it sounds familiar.
Yeah, they're at the building where I was, I thought this was. I got invited on New Year's Eve for an interview for an internship. And I sent them an email like, okay, they're advising the government on AI solutions and assisting them in the AI transition. So they wrote a big paper and they wrote the AI Delta Plan.
Okay.
Do you know it?
No.
Like 52 recommendations for the Dutch society to how do we become relevant in this AI revolution?
Yeah, I do know this.
Yeah,
I think I read it.
Yeah.
Like not read it, but like heard
skimmed it. Yeah. And I sent them an email like, okay, this is my work, this is my portfolio, but I think you guys are missing this point, because they recognize the possibility for the Netherlands to become a frontier in responsible AI, because we have all these institutions. And then I said, but you're really missing this cognitive aspect, and I want to add that to the table. So it was, okay, interesting, let's come by. But then the talk was really interesting, but there wasn't really a position to bring that topic to the table. And then at the end of the conversation, I already had this idea in my head for a long time, and I threw it in. It was a bit of a bluff and like an impulse. And then like he really was like, this sounds really interesting. You really have to start developing this, because I suspect a lot will come out of it. And that was actually the reason to like put that risk aversion aside. And really, I called my parents, like, I think it might be interesting. Let's meet up. And yeah, that really honestly put that risk aversion in the bin. And I had some follow-up meetings to test it with first of all, some neuroscientists and some AI researchers. And then all of them kept saying, okay, yeah, they weren't shooting like holes in the story. So then I thought, okay, let's just try it. And then I started building it. And now I'm finding everything out along the way, which we'll talk about probably.
Yeah. No, I think that feedback can really build confidence though. Yeah. Right? You know, because a lot of us inherently question, be it like imposter syndrome, like you might be a certain age or you might be a certain education level or anything like that, and you feel the passion to solve a problem. But when you're hearing it from the people that are currently working on solving the problem, that you're headed in the right direction, that can make such a difference. So I totally get how like getting a couple of those things took your kind of like worries a bit down, right? And allowed you to really start kind of like moving in the direction of where you wanted to go, which I think was good. Yeah.
I am also, then I have another question, like, I think it's really good that you had that, because I think a lot of founders in the beginning also have a bit like, I'm not sure if this can work. Do you think you would have continued if that guy didn't think, would you think you would have continued with
asking the hard questions?
I have thought about this. It's a good question, because probably yes, I wouldn't. So yes, I think I wouldn't have started it, because it really was that I can mention his name, Onno Blom. It was really he had a similar path. He started something at my age and was successful, and now he's more mission driven to assist the government. And I don't know. For me, I just looked up to him from the moment I stepped in the office, and when he was saying that, I really thought, okay, this is a guy who has done it, and I really believe him. And I always thought myself, when I had the idea and I pitched it first to the UvA, that it was a really good idea, but they didn't see the vision. So then I put it like on the shelf. So I am inclined to say that I wouldn't have started it, and probably I would mention the same idea in a year from now, and somebody would say it, and then I would start it. Because it was always in the back of my head, but too risk averse too.
He did give you the push to be like...
Definitely. And I've sent him a couple of emails to thank him for it, because it's just a really nice adventure. Yeah.
Appreciation, it always goes a long way too, because he saw it at the infancy, right? And you're kind of like, that's part of the relationship moving forward, you know, and that mentorship can be really helpful as well.
Yeah, and it's not that I have a lot of contact with him, but he helped me on 2 instances later with some contacts, and it's really nice. So, I have to thank him again. So,
that's good. Okay, so I definitely think we hit the why now, based on the MIT report and everything like that. And we have maybe we want to dive in a bit deeper into kind of like, what do you think differentiates Mindr-AI, right? Because I would say that maybe, you know, cognitive, this is people are aware of it, but what do you think really is differentiating you and your approach?
You mean from possible competitors, or?
Yep, competitors, how you're going to enter the market, if you're thinking in that way already.
Yeah. We are.
It must be that you don't think about it, right? That you're really focused on your own journey, but...
Yeah. No, again, it's a good question. And I think there's a couple of things, but I would mainly say, and might not be commercially the best answer, but it's really like intrinsic motivation and mission driven to have impact on this topic. So big tech has some solutions, right? They have GPT for education, and you have Canmigo has something, but I I dare to put question marks around their motives, and if it's really designed to have a positive educational or cognitive impact, or if it's designed to sort of push the AI narrative within the educational realm to get people hooked from an early stage. Yeah, and it's obviously it makes sense that they do it, and there might be really talented people, I'm sure, working on it. But I do think that sets us apart, and definitely with everything that's happening in the world, the fact that we're European, we're Dutch, and our ambition is to run everything on European tech, with GDPR compliance, privacy is like the number one priority. I really think that's a differentiating factor compared to other platforms.
Yeah, because I think sovereignty is like a big conversation piece right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Dutch tech or European tech in Europe, no dependencies.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's going to split things out a little bit based on maybe cost but in the long term, it seems to be a real strategy change and how people are trying to like move things along, but also it can be a benefit to your product, right? For selling in Europe and being able to promise something. So yeah, I think it's super interesting.
Yeah. And then I think in combination with the team that we're establishing right now, so my background and then some of the candidates who hopefully in the next weeks are joining, So
you're building a team right now?
Yeah. We are building a team right now. And we're actually in really advanced talks with a scientist who we believe, and she's really mission driven, and she really believes in the product. We've shown her, we've had a couple of meetings. That will be definitely a pushing factor within, say, if we first move to the educational field. I think that will be a differentiating factor compared to others. And again, there's also downsides, right? We're starting. We have to be with different standards than maybe big tech, especially on privacy levels. People are much stricter for startups than for big tech. But I think there's definitely some factors there. So the team, the mission, the way we structure the company, it's all factors that hopefully contribute to people wanting to join the mission of making AI truly responsible.
Yeah. I do have one question already. Stupid question maybe, but how will you make, is there money involved? Will it... Yeah. Or do you think that it will be supported, for example, by, as you say, governments who really want to keep eyes on that we don't get, I'm saying it shortly now, but dumber, it's not what I mean, but more really are having strong connection with hey, we should really tutor our children properly, education should be good. How does that work?
Yes, to answer the question, there's a commercial side to it, so it won't be a free platform. And it depends on the route we take for what the product will finally be. So we have two options right now. We have a platform. We should even still probably get to how it works.
Yeah. It's also I don't think we've gotten to how it works yet at all. Yeah. I mean, we talked about it generally in the beginning, but finish up.
So we have three target groups. The first one was actually knowledge workers, which might come to a surprise. Then second was education. Third would be what we call responsible parents. So people who want to give a responsible platform to their children. And yeah, there's a business model behind it. So they have to pay a fee to get access to either the platform, or it will be integrated. It might be an extension or an API or an MCP server. There's several options on the table. And now for us, we're sort of within talks, just seeing where the biggest interest lays. And that's probably where we'll enter the market first. And our goal is to enter the market after the summer. So, yeah. Yeah,
validation is one of the things that I think people don't do enough. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you're taking your time with validation in these audiences, trying to see where you have the best chance.
Yeah.
Are you testing that out? Are you doing pilots or how?
Yeah. We've completed one pilot already with the company. So that was knowledge workers. That was an
paid pilot?
No, unpaid. Unpaid.
I always like to ask.
No. So we're now in talks for paid pilots.
Nice.
A couple of options, luckily for us. But that was unpaid and it was finished now. And then we have, I think now, like a pool of just test users, like friends and family. They use it like on a daily basis. And some people that we've met in the field that were like, let me test it out for a while.
Did they seem smarter or dumber after they used it?
So there's some interesting insights.
I was about to say, are there actual insights that you're able to get out of
definitely. It? So one thing that's really surprising right now already, that especially if people want to study, a couple of them, now I'm generalizing, but they prefer Mindr already over whatever other platform they're using. So that's a really big positive. And what we're getting back is that they feel much more autonomy over their work. So they feel they're much more in the loop rather than Claude just asking you, do you want me to add this and this? And you say yes. And then what we're already seeing in science is that there's a momentum building that people don't feel the ownership over that work anymore. So yes, we have users and we're validating it in that way. And there's actually already quite a lot of organizations coming towards us without us going in public yet. So, which is nice. But again, at this point, we still have nothing. So it's now the next couple of months will be interesting to see where it
in the sandbox, trying to build the thought that you have. Yeah. Well, let's talk about how it works.
Yeah.
Because
I was also
we've talked around it.
Because so I think I started using AI during my bachelor and then also during my master, and I also had a lot of chats with other students. Some said, I will let it make it done by AI. And then I was like, but why am I'm studying for myself. So how can I use this in a way that my knowledge grows, right? But then I'm like, how are universities and stuff like gonna do this? So I'm curious to hear,
Yeah. Please interrupt if I'm not explaining something properly.
No, you're all good.
So what Mindr-AI does is you ask a question. Say now it's on our own platform.
We can always drop in some video right here too.
Yeah. I can show. I can share some demos. You ask a question, and then our system analyzes it on a couple of neurocognitive domains. So I don't think if it makes sense to mention those domains, but it looks, for example, how self-critical are you? What's the level of complexity you're engaging in? But also there's a lot of proxies to disentangle if something is, obviously there might be a risk that people use another AI platform to generate a prompt or input, then throw it in.
Yeah.
So there are some proxies to...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I was like, oops.
Yeah, exactly. So you're familiar with it. There's just a lot of words that AI uses and that humans use, right? So we have semantic diversity that we take into consideration, the thought latency, a lot of things. That's put in a formula, and then you get a Socratic score. And the Socratic score is then sort of a proxy of how in-depth your input is. And based on the Socratic score, Mindr-AI sends a signal to whatever you're using, whatever response LLM, to adjust its behavior in a way that their cognition sort of asks for. And then to make it user-friendly, how it works is that, say you're working on a task and you're thinking at a deep level and your input is, you're scoring high on a Socratic scale. What that would mean is that Mindr would be just in an execution mode. So you just get access to Claude or whatever, and you sort of deserve the full-on output. But then say your input is getting worse, or you're offloading more and more tasks in a consistent manner, then we would scale back the output in several ways to trigger your thinking. So, for example, it would say, obviously I can perform this task, or I have all these sources for you. Can you come up with, can you synthesize the information for me? so I can put it all together in a final, whatever your request was. So in that way, it forces you to really take a step back and think like, oh yeah, what was my goal when I started the conversation, or what do I think about the information that has been presented to me? And so that's what we do. And then you have a dashboard where you see, okay, I'm on this cognitive domain, I'm scoring that way, my requests are always in this type, I'm delegating work or I'm exploring topics. And then after 10 prompts, that's not interesting, but say after a year and you have had 10,000 prompts, you really build up a cognitive profile, right? And then if you could connect it to an L&D platform, or we could provide you with personalized training, like, okay, we see that your self-reflection is generally really low. It might be that you just don't put it into AI systems, that could be the case, or it might be something that you have to develop a little bit, right? That you would provide tools for that, and that way you get sort of insight into how you're thinking with AI and how you're letting AI do the work. So the idea is never to sort of say AI is bad or you shouldn't use AI, but it's to use it in a way that you stay engaged with the work, so you feel more autonomy over the work, you can reproduce more of the work, and that's beneficial for both you yourself, but also your employer or whatever. If you have to present a pitch and you made it with Mindr and you were really in the loop, you probably present it with much more confidence than if you've sent your Claude agent to make the presentation, you look at it, obviously you know what it's about and it's not for every person the same, but there's a high chance that you didn't encode the information properly, so it's in your long-term memory. So that was a long story, but does it make sense somewhat?
Yeah, no, I think it makes sense. We can dive a little bit deeper into, because what I'm hearing right now, it's maybe good to do a reflection of like what I think we got out of it, and you let me know if there's more that you want to add. And our lights are being fun right now. They're apparently motion activated, which we just learned right now. Yeah. So what I'm seeing is this is like a plugin that you are adding to an LLM that is then kind of monitoring your activity with whatever generative AI that you're using. Yeah. And then it is either kind of like throttling, if everybody understands what I'm talking about there, throttling up or down based on your level of input that you're putting into the conversation that you're having back and forth with Gen AI. Yeah. Is that in a simple way kind of?
Yeah, that's a really simple way, but then there's a lot of options. If you, like for every client, we would also like fine tune the way you want it to be analyzed, the different behavioral modes. If you would even like to have different behavioral modes, maybe you just want it as a monitoring tool, so that at the end of every quarter you get a reminder moment where you get a rapport on
same thing in English. Can confirm.
So it's a plugin, and then it's based on just data sets we've built, European models that we fine-tuned to be really good at cognitive detection. So it's not like a vibe-coded tool that we put in and everybody can make it. It's really specialized, like to be developed to detect different ways of AI usage.
Yeah, I have one question. I have the feeling I'm asking a lot of painful questions. So let's say...
Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. It's more like maybe someone else will also ask it. So I would really like this, and it would be really valuable, because I have the feeling that I'm like, okay, I really want to learn from this. But there might be people who are lazy. And I mean, we're still humans. In the end, we want to have the easiest or fastest way from nature, right? Based from nature. How will you then position it to make sure that people will, instead of, they could also, let's say, okay, now I'm looking at a teenager for 14 years old, and he's thinking, yeah, but I want to get it done because I want to start gaming again, so I will just use GPT instead of this, because this will take me more time. But in the end, of course, you know the influence it has in the longer run, which means that it will improve but the teenager cares about the gaming, right? And also some people who are stressed in daily life could be like, okay, I just want to have it done fast. So then I'm like, okay, how are you gonna?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and that definitely falls in the category we don't know yet, because obviously it adds a friction point. Learning is friction, and that might be one of the reasons why the hyperscalers aren't really putting it like in their mainstream tools, because it's a friction point, and also probably because of more critical use and you give more input, the AI conversations get shorter. So there's two sides of that story.
Or you don't want to focus on a target group, but that's also possible.
Yeah, no. It depends. That's something we really have to find out, because it might also be that people have their Mindr-AI moments and they also want to deserve credits or something, and that you can turn it off for a day. Like, not every conversation, not every prompt has cognitive value, right? Sometimes you need a fast answer. Sometimes you might not have used AI, but you have written something by hand for whatever reason, and you need something fast. So we make like categories, so we don't monitor everything, but that we really have to find out on larger scales with larger pilots. Do we indeed see that people go to shadow AIs, so they start to use other platforms? Then we need to come up with solutions. That's a really big question that will definitely have multiple answers in a couple of months or years. But I'm wondering about that question every night as well. Like, how do you, and also, do you want to become like a big brother kind of principle? We don't want that. We want there to be for the user, because if it would be enforced top down, the whole idea of that it's sort of your companion that makes you smarter gets swept away, and you're sort of the spy of your boss that wants to check if you're actually smart. Or your teacher. So,
first off, kudos for like saying that you don't know right now, and you need to discover that. That's big. Also, I think from technology being abused to monitor or track or anything else, you could see. The thing is, any technology can be hacked to do something bad, and it's more about your positioning of mission driven and wanting to do something good. That also is going to maybe bring the right people into doing that you want to do business with.
In the end, you also don't want to focus on the people who in the end you also don't want to focus on the people who, how do I say this, like if they don't want to grow and learn in life, then that's maybe not also your target customer.
This is clearly a product where you have multiple camps. You have people that think, I don't care about it. I just want the outcomes to be good. Probably in software development, there's a lot of owners of agencies. I just was from a meeting where he mentioned, like I can be honest, I don't care about that. I am worried that they get like less smart, but I'm also, it's more for me, it's about the output. So there will be a divide within companies or schools. I would hope every school would adopt this. That's the mission. But companies, there will definitely be, and even people, we will have 2 camps or we have 5 camps. You'll have people that want to embrace this, and you'll have people that don't want to embrace it. And in the first months, year, we also need the people and the users who want to bring this company further, right? So that are willing to give feedback, that are willing to give honest feedback. So what doesn't work? What works?
I think there's this idea too that you need to sell to everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think it's an internal pressure that happens a lot where you're like, I need everybody to get and understand what I'm working on and see value. That might be some sort of like...
That's why I also asked a bit a stupid question, but like you will probably want... you said it yourself, like it's also in your mind. Yeah. But on the other hand, you could also indeed, when you think about it, like it starts with small children, and if they see, like we're growing up now with AI, so there has to be behavior and change, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that then on the other end, you can see like, it really helps to change the value of learning in a different way again. So there's always pros and cons, right? But you don't... have to sell it to everyone. Not everyone is your the
core customer.
No.
And we talk about ICP, right? So identifying who you would want to go after first, which sounds like you guys are thinking about it already, which is really good. The biggest thing too is, and I think we're both seeing this with our companies right now, and it's good that you're thinking about it even before really entering the market, is stickiness. Getting people to use the product every day, use the product and not just like sign up for it and then never use it again.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've probably seen this, and there's a lot of temptation, but like gamification that we see right now and reward systems are definitely an interesting kind of value perspective.
It's integrated also, right? Like what you said about the point system, etc.
Exactly.
That's there. But
Yeah.
Is that do you have that knowledge also based on what you studied, etc.? Yeah.
So you think you do think you're gonna do some piece of this, right?
And like you said, it is already there.
Yeah.
Because we would hope that users like are motivated to score high, right? And the coolest thing would be that in a year or in 2 years, young people, when they apply to a job, they put their Mindr scores on their CV, right? So they can show, see, I'm using AI, but I'm smart as well.
This is smart.
Prove that you're smart through your Mindr-AI score.
Yeah. So that's a gamification part, and also competitiveness. So you need to watch out with it as well. But also, obviously, for schools, it might be that you can earn badges or certificates or whatever. There's an endless possibility of features. But gamification, it will be part of it because it needs to be made fun.
Shift then for how people study and learn, right?
Yeah.
That's a bigger picture, actually.
Yeah, I mean, and I would almost say like universities and academia need the realignment like we talked about, because right now it's like in the U.S. we say wild, wild west. I don't think this is relevant here. Cowboys and Indians, right? But it is a bit of an unknown. Like we've both been in the university system recently in different ways, and AI came in hard, and tests were affected. The work and how it was getting done was affected, and the university really didn't even know how to respond. No. So this sounds kind of like a nice way.
That's why I wrote the paper.
Yeah,
it is about how I think education should cope with it.
No, I think that's really good. So maybe, okay, now we have understanding what the tool is. We know the why now. We know the way that you're approaching. Let's go into, well, you've been already asking the hard questions. Okay, I'm going to ask pain questions now. It's my turn. You can be the good cop, and I'll be the bad cop. So yeah, I would say, you're still in school right now. The one thing that sometimes we see with founders that are still in universities, you're in a bit of a bubble when it comes to the support school can give you, as well as kind of like the group that you're working with and everything like that. And so my question is kind of like, how have you, through Amsterdam or the larger startup scene, how have you tried to branch out kind of the perspectives that you're getting, right? Like when you're pitching Mindr, or like exposure outside of that academia bubble, right?
Yeah. What actually happened when I started this sort of pushed me away from the uni for a while. So I haven't, because I finished all the courses already. So it was a thesis that I had to do. So I was actually a lot outside of the university bubble. And actually, you asked me to name like biggest surprises along the way. And it is actually targeting this question that how people help me is actually a really big surprise to me. It's a lot of people that I send a message and respond like, oh yeah, I would love to help and I can give you some advice. So the branching out kind of, I'm running Mindr-AI with my father, and a lot of people we contact just respond and are willing to help. So, and then through that, actually, we're getting our leads and stuff. So, because And also now it's coming from angles that we didn't expect. So the mouth to mouth
really works.
Promotion is up and running, but the reality is also we need to push that a lot more, the branching out, like a lot more. But we were really holding back first because of IP questions, and also you don't want to promise things you can't realize yet. And now we're still on that line of probably now we're saying things we can't realize yet, but that's also part of the journey, I think. So yeah, the branching out, it's through mouth to mouth, and at this stage, it's going honestly better than I expected. It might also be because of the nature of the problem and the background of the people.
Yeah. And the relevancy of the conversation that's happening right now, right? It's in the news.
Yeah, it's really picking up. If I would have started 2 years ago, people wouldn't care, and now we're really seeing the effects. And the biggest surprise actually is, you mentioned a 14-year-old that wants to game, right? When I started this, my hypothesis was that older people would immediately see the benefit and would understand it, and younger people wouldn't care. But it's actually the opposite. So like a lot of young people already are coming up to me, and because I did add it to my LinkedIn page. So some people have just seen my LinkedIn page and then send me a message, can I use it already? Because I'm actually really worried about what it's doing to my brain. So people are at the stage that they're literally noticing it. And
I feel,
not 14. 14 years old aren't on LinkedIn, but it's friends, but also friends from friends. And I always assumed that they wouldn't care. And now that we're in talks with some schools, the situation over there is actually even more severe. So children are really worried. Like even my generation, we're probably somewhat the same age. We're seeing a rise in imposter syndrome, right? Where people were worrying, do I have the skills? Yeah. But now there's really a case to be made that you might not always have the skills while you're delivering the output. So there's a gap there, and people are feeling it and they are worried about it. And now everyone is with the hands in their hair, like that's not a proper translation, but
it's going higher.
Exactly. But our brains aren't keeping up, and that's the biggest surprise, that younger people are actually winning. Well, we have to see, right, if they're actually willing to put the actions towards their wishes. Yeah, and that was really the biggest surprise so far. And actually, for some older people, it takes a really long time for them to understand why it would be beneficial and why people would want to use it. So that's something we've learned along the way.
Yeah, I think that's really good findings though, right? Because the hypothesis that you might find for your approach, how you're building the tool, could be the complete opposite when you actually get there, you know?
Test it out. For sure, then along the way you will figure out, right?
Yeah,
hopefully.
A target group that you're like, didn't even thought about it. So
yeah, it's what a lot of founders say, like in this journey, like the biggest sort of opportunities arise when you don't expect them and from angles where you don't expect them. Yeah. And that I've encountered that already. So I hope that continues.
For sure. I think I want to finish it off with one last question.
Ooh.
Because you said, maybe if that's okay for you, maybe if you have a different question.
No. I think I was trying to think about it while we were doing this thing. So go for it.
Well, you said to finish it off fun, you're doing it with your dad.
Yeah.
How is that? I was so curious.
Yeah, co-founder dad.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
How did that go?
A lot of people ask this, obviously, and we never planned this, so that's a really big part of it. I called them, both my parents, that I might have something. Let's have a talk, and I assumed that they would really not embrace it and say you have to finish your studies and then we'll talk further. But my father was actually ending his job. So he had like half a year of space. And then after a week, he called me like, I want to help you with the go-to-market strategy and all the technical sides of starting a business. I want to take a large part of that.
I assume he has knowledge.
Yeah.
A lot of experience.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and so he's Actually, I think up to this point, we're managing quite well. So I'm also with him, and we don't talk about it. When we go to Ajax or something, we're not talking about it. But at the same time, he's also just as a actual colleague. So he'll also be like strict when he needs to be, or just be sincere. It's not that he's like patting my back all the time. And people really, that's what we didn't expect. People really like and find it charming, like a father and son.
It has a story.
It has a story, but it's also weird because I can be honest. It's also the money of your parents going into something, right? So like targeting doubts. Sometimes I go to sleep and I'm like, am I making the right decision? And sometimes I feel like if I would have gone to a bank and start a loan, I would move more freely. Obviously, it's not really the case, but I can get the feeling. So it's really amazing, and I'm loving every minute of it. Probably in 10 years when I look back, I think what a chance was that.
100%.
But it also has, obviously, it has also some downsides.
Yeah, you can have like give and takes, right? It also sounds good that you guys are setting boundaries where you can watch AX and it's not like, what do we have to do tomorrow, Dad, on that?
Yeah.
You're still father and son and business partners.
Yeah.
I think that's very special.
Yeah.
And as you guys bring on more people, obviously challenges and everything like that are going to happen in that way.
Definitely.
But that can be an exciting... And you guys know each other already, which I think is really big. A lot of the times co-founders might be just knowing each other for the first time.
Yeah. And it's somebody with more experience. So as the team is shaping up now, we might have somebody from every generation, which is also interesting because we all look at things differently.
Also really important maybe for building a proper team.
Yeah. I'll have to find out. In a half a year, I can tell you if it's...
Yeah. We'll have to have a check back episode.
Yeah, that would be
first startup on the podcast. Where is he now?
Yeah.
It's like Forbes 40, where like he's committed a crime. You're not going to commit a crime.
Sold my soul.
I told you. The devil got him. So I think the way that we normally want to finish these off now is make sure that you get your ask in. A lot of podcasts will be like, what are you here to advertise or present? And obviously you're here to tell us about Mindr-AI. But, what do you need from people? Like as we put this out on LinkedIn and everything, what's the big thing that you need right now to help you be successful?
So what we're really looking for is for people that want to drive this mission further, but that's really broad. But like I said, we have this notion of responsible AI in Europe, and we really want to bring this aspect, we want to bring it to the table of responsible AI, so that in 2 years or 3 years, all of the children that go to school or all of the young knowledge workers that want it can get access to a system that's keeping them cognitively sharp. So anybody that's listening who's thinking, I want to contribute to this mission, contact us, please, because we're looking for more people to push the narrative out. That's why I'm here, obviously. But if you're a school, if you're a knowledge institution, hit us up and we would love to get into contact. Even if it's just a keynote on how relevant the topic is and what you can do, we would love to provide it. And yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's if academia, like you're saying, Ruben, can come and just present what the current state of cognition and AI use looks like. And I think a lot of people probably need to learn more about it. So we'll put the relevant links in the bio. Yeah.
We'll also make a post, and maybe it's nice that you show, indeed we said something about demo, that you can show a little bit of these, like, hey, this is what's in there. And we will also look into our network. But if there's anyone in any network, we will...
Yeah, that would be really, really nice.
Yeah, if anybody reaches out to us, we'll connect to you.
Amazing.
And then we'll be the connectors.
So we'll see each other. together also in the future, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Had a follow-up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Thank you a lot.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank you guys for
joining us.
having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And as always, if you are a founder, you're a funder, you're someone that's part of the Dutch ecosystem, get in contact with us. We can do exactly what we just did here, and we'll give you a platform.
Thank you. See you next episode.
See you next episode. Bye. Okay.